Back in the day, the top 1% of athletes like Kobe Bryant had to destroy themselves in the gym and practice just to be called the GOAT. No matter the physical pain or the mental strain, they showed up every single day, most of the time with horrible injuries that normal people wouldn't even comprehend. They believed that more was always better. But here's what's fascinating. The best athletes today have completely shifted from this approach. They are training way less often and way more smarter. This isn't me underestimating their work ethic. Trust me, an average human or even an amateur athlete would struggle to go toe to toe with how these top athletes train today. So what changed? What's the secret that separates today's elite performers from the grind till you die mentality of the past? The answer is mastering how you recover your CNS, or central nervous system. This video is going to show you exactly how you can do that. And that's why you need to watch this video from the beginning to the end, so you can totally understand how your CNS works and how controlling it can skyrocket your strength, break all your personal records, make you faster in any sport, and sharpen your brain to an IQ level where you can outsmart anybody in your chosen field. You literally become a superhuman athlete. So what exactly is the central nervous system? Basically, CNS is your brain and your spinal cord controlling your entire body. Whenever you perform a physical activity, your brain fires off an electrical signal which goes down through your spinal cord to the nerves connected to your muscle. Think of it as the command center of your body's performance. But how is it even related to performance, strength, or speed? Let me break it down. As you keep activating your CNS, it keeps sending these signals down to your muscles. But continued firing without adequate recovery causes it to slow down completely and become ineffective. This state is called CNS fatigue, and you should never let your body come to this stage if you ever want to be a great athlete. Here's why CNS fatigue will absolutely destroy your performance. First, you get reduced mind-muscle connection. During weightlifting, you have to lift heavier weights to build muscle. That's the law of nature. But lifting heavier doesn't always come from being physically stronger. It's also mental. When your brain properly coordinates with your muscles with how it lifts weights, you automatically start lifting heavier without actually being physically stronger. But when your CNS is fatigued, your brain doesn't have that focus to do anything efficiently because it's adapted to being constantly stimulated without any time to recover. Second, because your brain is fried, you're always low on energy and lack that strength or motivation to work out or train properly. Third, your reflexes and fast twitch muscle take a massive hit. This is especially crucial for combat sports and high-speed activities. Look at F1 drivers. They probably have the fastest reaction time on the planet. They train in a way that ensures that their CNS is never fatigued, so their neurons can fire at a superhuman level. Otherwise, they risk crashing at an extremely high speed. Fourth, you develop a very poor sleeping pattern or completely irregular sleeping schedule. And fifth, you keep getting sick due to a weakened immune system because your body has worked to a point of complete exhaustion and wear and tear. But here's the ironic part. The most optimal form of training both helps you become a better athlete and completely destroys your CNS at the same time. How? There are two main ways. One, lifting heavier to build strength. There is no doubt that you need to progressively overload. That is, increasing weights or reps week after week to build more strength and muscle. And next, training to failure, where you push yourself to the absolute limit, where you can't even lift for even one more rep. That is training to failure. These two are the crucial concepts used by top athletes to excel in their sport. But when you do this constantly, without a break, pushing your body to its limits all the time, every single day, that's when it's no longer optimal. This is where CNS recovery becomes everything. If you don't let your CNS recover, all that extra work that you did is literally wasted. You have successfully pushed yourself to negative gains. You feel weak, can't lift heavy, look smaller, and keep getting sick. This is not what a top athlete does. Here's the positive part. Recovering your CNS is surprisingly simple. Just rest for 48 to 72 hours after a high CNS activity. Don't do anything during this period that will push your CNS hard. Top athletes with millions to spend go through extreme measures just to shorten this recovery process. There is cryotherapy, physiotherapy, massage guns, yoga, you name it. But what you can do is much simpler and costs literally nothing. First, don't work out for 48 hours after an intense session. Next, Sleep for 8 to 9 hours consistently. Prioritize protein in your meals for faster muscle recovery. And consume enough carbs to restore your glycogen levels and the right amount of fats to restore your immune system. Drink plenty of water throughout the day. Also avoid painkillers unless you have a genuine injury. If it's just sore muscles, I suggest working through this discomfort as painkillers might interfere with the natural muscle repair process. And here's something most people don't know. Don't flex in the mirror too much. Don't get me wrong, looking at your progress in front of the mirror is vital. But flexing like a bodybuilder is not recommended as this puts a heavy load on your CNS, especially while holding your breath and contracting your muscles to the extreme. Let me give you a perfect example of how I manage both bodybuilding and mixed martial arts training by controlling my CNS. I lift weights only 3 times a week, concentrating a lot more on compound movements like shoulder presses, bench press, deadlift, and lat pull downs. Mondays are chest and biceps, Wednesdays are back and triceps, and Fridays are shoulders and deadlifts. I don't do legs or abs in the gym because they are pushed to an extreme during MMA classes later during the day, which I attend 5 times a week, Monday to Friday. The weekends are completely rest days. I don't do any kind of activity. Occasionally I might add a little bit of running to improve on my endurance and stamina. Even though MMA involves a lot of cardio and endurance, it is definitely highly taxing on your CNS. So the days where I don't weight train, I push myself a little harder during MMA classes while mixing up different art forms, but never to the point where I'm lying on the mat half dead. Thursdays are usually kept for sparring, so I don't do any kind of activity in the morning. If you're someone who's into bodybuilding or weightlifting, I recommend going to the gym only 3 to 4 times a week. But if you're involved in a more intense sport, I recommend going down to only 2 times a week, but never ever skipping your gym. You need to always remember that building strength is one of the best indicators of muscle being built in your body, and having more muscle is the key to good health. So don't ever stop going to the gym. Even if you're into a completely different sport like running, football, cricket, or even MMA, every sport requires that explosive energy and power to reach your goals faster. Just make sure that you don't overdo with activating your CNS, because CNS fatigue doesn't just affect your body, it also affects your brain and the way you think and act. The confidence and decision making skills take a major hit. This is extremely important for you to remember. You need your brain and IQ level not only in your sport to outcompete your competition, but also to make bold decisions in life and business. Once you actively start thinking about recovery and rest, your body and brain are going to thank you with performance, strength, and speed advantage that you need in return. As you mindfully start visualizing the process of activating your brain during a heavy workout session, imagining your brain activity sending the electrical signals down through your spinal cord to the nerves connected to your muscles, making them contract and pull that one extra rep, breaking your own record. This is the best feeling ever. And once you make this a habit, the unfair advantage of performance, strength, speed, and intelligence is not only going to shock you, but also your competition.